manifesting some kind of love, manifesting some kind of relationship. Anything that's worthwhile is a little bit of a risk. I'm going to do this myself. Excited to try new things, to meet new people. It feels like they're really square and you're not. Hello, Pisces, my love. I'm Michele B, and I'm here to bring you a lovely reading about money and love. Tarot, yes. Never mind the white noise happening back here. It's all about fans because we're in a gigantic heat wave over here on the northwest coast of Washington State. We don't have air conditioners, so when we get 100-degree temperatures, very rare, we need to use fans. But I'm surviving. Here we go. Main theme of the reading, Seven of Pentacles. This is you looking over all the efforts that you've been putting in so far and waiting for the harvest to come. You've been diligently working away, getting things started, whether that be on your money or that be on manifesting some kind of love, manifesting some kind of relationship. You have been putting in the diligent effort, and now you're saying, what else can I do? What else can I do? You're being told nothing. There's not really much else that you can do except put good vibes into yourself and the work that you're doing, okay? So this is all being backed up, though, by you, first of all, feeling like I'm not going to be dependent on someone else anymore, right? I'm going to become the master of my own money, the master of my own lifestyle, the master of my own resources. Right? That's excellent. Because in the past, you've been a person that didn't really know what you were doing. Maybe we're much more dependent on others. And you're like, I'm tired of that because it never did me any good to be dependent on other people. It's okay to be interdependent, symbiotic as it was, but to be completely dependent on someone else is not good for you. It's not good for anybody to be that way. So you're like, I'm tired of depending on someone else and then having to do everything that they say. And then what happens when it falls through? What happens when we don't get along? It's a lot of stress and anxiety that you just got sick of. But here you are being like, I'm excited. I want to do things for myself, but I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm scared. Okay? No idea what I'm doing. I'm scared, and I don't even know if I'm putting all my effort in the right place, because it seems like most other people work really, really hard and they don't have time to enjoy their work. It seems like most people are spinning their wheels and then they just end up dying anyway. First of all, you want something better. You want something that's going to bring you a lot more money. You want a relationship that you can put energy into that's actually going to be worthwhile in the long run. You don't want to be running around dating a bunch of people and have it all turn into nothing because they're flakes and they don't trust each other. You want to be able to trust other people, but you don't want to let down your guard the way that you had in the past. So it's really all just a matter of mindset and knowing that you're able to handle anything that comes down the pipe. Sometimes it takes time. The Seven of Pentacles is all about knowing that what the things that are worthwhile are going to take time. So be patient. So take your time in building something that, especially with the money, take your time in building something that you're going to feel really good about. I'm going to go into the money right now and talk about your messages for that, and then I'll go to the love. So one thing at a time, doing the money. Here you are wondering if all of the efforts that you've been putting in are going to turn out to be nothing, because you don't know. Anything that's worthwhile is a little bit of a risk, so you don't know if it's going to end up turning into something eventually. And so you're like, am I going to be one of those elderly people that's totally dependent on the system and is barely getting by? That's up to you, though. Something that I'm hearing loud and clear is that you have to figure out your own way of being in the world that doesn't go along with the status quo narrative. The status quo narrative is that if you're really, really lucky, you get a good paying job. If you're really, really lucky, you get this great inspiration to be an entrepreneur, and you have like the thing that sells, and you make a lot of money, you have your investments, and then you retire happily ever after. So that's the status quo line. But the hermit finds their own way, because that doesn't work. That status quo narrative isn't working for most people, especially in the Western world at this time. The hermit has to find their own path in the world as they go through life. And that might mean having different expectations of what your old age is going to look like for you to prepare for. The Hermit is an old dude, right? But one thing that I really love about Pisces is they are okay with simplicity and minimalism and just streamlining things down to the bare minimum of what they absolutely need in order to be satisfied, in order to feel like I'm living a really good life. And that's really important, not just to get by, but to feel like I'm having a really, really good life. What do I need? Shine that light on that situation. What do you need that to look like? Move toward that and not what everybody else thinks is the way that you're supposed to go. And be very patient with yourself in the process of identifying what it is that's most meaningful to you. Look at this recurring guy that we have in the money. I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to do this myself. King of Pentacles came up again. I'm going to do this myself. I'm not going to depend on, here comes my train friend. I'm not going to, are you done? I'm not going to depend on someone else to do it for me. But we do need to release identification with the idea that you have been given a shitty deal from the start, because most people have a shitty deal in something, in some aspects of their life. Some people, hey, I'm doing a reading right now. I'm recording. Anyway, most people don't have things totally set up for them, but still they end up doing really well. And people that do have things that are really set up for are just as likely to not do really well. So that's not an excuse, my dear. That's interesting that I got all these burdens, and I have this I got dealt a shitty deal. And I ended up getting in situations, being attracted to people because of my crappy relationship with my parents. You know, the bad deal, the raw deal that I got growing up. I ended up in these shitty relationships that brought me down and wasted so much of my time when I could have been working on myself. It's never too late, though. You learned a lot from that experience and other aspects of your life. You learned a lot. You learned about what you want to be in contrast. So let it go. Let go of the burden. Let go of the burden of what you think that you didn't get. You will be so freed up when you let go of identification with being the downtrodden person. When you instead embrace the fact that you can have anything you want. And it doesn't even have to be hard. You can have what you want. You can just beeline straight for it. But you have to choose to do that. So instead of just keeping going around in the same cycles over and over again, it's time to transition into abundance and the feeling of wealth. Remember that. The feeling of wealth, it doesn't necessarily have to be wealth in the bank yet. The physical manifestation of wealth follows the feeling of being wealthy. What little things can you do for yourself to give yourself pleasure? Very simple, very austere ways to make yourself feel wealthy that don't actually cost anything. Love prospects. Now, I know for a lot of you Pisces, things have been not so great in the love arena. I know. So we got a couple of recurring themes coming up in the love department from other aspects of the reading. So remember in the intro, we were talking about you feeling like a newbie, not really knowing what you're doing, whether or not your efforts are even going to pan out, because you feel fresh and new in all this. So we got that guy coming up in the love aspect as well. So even if you identify as feminine, it's that you're excited to try new things, to meet new people. You're excited to get out there, and date. Or in your committed relationships, you're excited to get out there and experience the world and try all kinds of new things. But you may not feel totally supported, or you may feel alone. If you're in a committed relationship, you may not feel completely supported with that. But you don't identify really well with in your relationship with this. The two of you don't really click on these exciting feelings that you're having about starting new things, okay? But if it's that you're not in a relationship and you're looking for something new, you're like, I feel like an immature dork when I get on like the dating profiles, or if I go out and about and I'm trying to meet people, or if I'm just like trying to talk to somebody that I see regularly and trying to get to know them better. I feel like a dork that doesn't know what they're doing. And that's totally normal, right? But we got this Ace of Wands, which is another recurring theme. You see the wands and the wands and the wands. It's like you do want something new. You do want to connect with other people in a passionate way. You want your connections with other people to be really meaningful. That's what you're looking for. And you're like, this could happen for me. This could happen for me. If you're in a relationship right now where things aren't going well, I can see you imagining dating other people. Okay? You can think whatever you want about the morality of that. Here's the Hierophant to say, people don't do that. People don't do that. If you're in a committed relationship, you should not be thinking about meeting other people so that you can feel, just so you can feel good about yourself, right? Sometimes you have to do that though. And it doesn't have to be like an affair if you're married or whatever. It doesn't have to be an affair, but just to feel attractive, just to feel like you're worthy of some kind of connection, because there is a certain amount of unworthiness, of inferiority complex happening for you here. It feels really good to connect and be meaningful to other people. And sometimes that happens in a romantic way. Pisces, you got to be romantic, right? So, you're being encouraged actually to, mostly for those of you who are not in a committed relationship, you're being strongly encouraged to get out there and try to meet new people. Step outside of your comfort zone and identify what it is that's really special about you. Identify what it is that you're excited about and use that as a springboard for meeting new people. And you don't necessarily have to get in a romantic relationship with them to have a good time. It's just about meeting new people, about finding exciting new acquaintances. And I'm really feeling like this, like the whole passion and what you're good at and what you're excited about is really important, because who you've been connecting with so far is like you're not connecting with really well, like on a deep, soulful level. It feels like they're really square and you're not. So you're having a hard time in the circles you've been going in. You've been having a hard time connecting. But for those of you who are in relationships and you don't feel like you're connecting really well with the person that you're with, please don't stay in that space. Don't stay in the space of, I don't connect with my partner. You can either change your attitude about it or change the situation. But being in this, like, I'm unhappy because I'm not connecting with my partner kind of scenario is not good for you, for the vibrations, for like every aspect of your life. It reflects negatively in your economic well-being when you're not happy with yourself, when you don't feel like you're beautiful, when you don't feel like you're attractive, when you don't feel like you're entertaining, when you don't feel like you're fun to be around, when you feel like you're like disconnected in some way. It's really important that you feel really, really good about yourself as you're going around, okay? Hey, but if you're totally happy in your relationship and everything's going great, then awesome, good for you. But you probably aren't here for that, are you? I gotta let you go. I love you, Pisces. Thank you so much for being with me for this reading. In the description box below, you'll find a link to my Instagram. You can follow me over there. And if you really love this reading, it meant a lot to you. I'm not monetized yet, so you could send me a couple of dollars, and that would make me feel like I'm getting out there to people and what I'm doing is meaningful. It means a lot to me. I'll see you later.